Hey everyone, welcome back to Watch Wayfarer. Today we are diving into a detailed review of the Casio A168 WGG-1BDF and the A168W1. These two classic digital watches blend retro style with modern functionality. Let's break down everything you need to know about these timepieces. So we have chosen each one of those, one for the negative display version and the other one for the positive display version. Let's dive deeper into these. Starting with the crystal, the Casio A168 WGG-1BDF and the Casio A168W1 both feature an acrylic glass. While the acrylic glass is not as scratch resistant as a sapphire crystal, it offers decent protection against everyday wear and tear. The acrylic adds to the retro aesthetic and it is easy to buff out minor scratches if needed using some of the compounds like Polywatch. On both the watches you don't see much of a difference as they use the same acrylic crystal and the size and everything is the same. Moving on to the case dimensions. The Casio A168, both the negative and the positive display, obviously has a case width of 36.3 millimeters and a case thickness of around 9.6 millimeters. This compact size makes it suitable for most wrist sizes and adds to its vintage charm. The watch is lightweight and is comfortable to wear all day long. Now let's talk about the face of these two watches. As you can see, the negative display watch has a black and white theme going on and it is devoid of any colors. And as for the positive display watch, you can see that it has red, blue and yellow colors. When you look at the retro theme for each one of these watches, the one with the positive display does it the best. It gives out a pop of color and it brings out the retro feeling a lot. When you come back to the negative display, it doesn't have that much of a retro theme, but it does have a stealth look which the positive display watch lacks. And when you look at the overall branding and naming, or maybe the text on the face of the watch, apart from the colors, there are some differences. So as you can see, the electroluminescence on this negative display lack the blue background which is present on the positive display. And also for the buttons sections, the light, mode and start and stop, though the text is written in white on both the watches, I can see that it lacks the red color on those dots when it comes to those button indications. And I think it's a choice that has to be made when they are going to remove the colors for the other areas which uses the same color. The illuminator on the positive dial uses the same red, so they have to do away with it in order to go for the all black and white variation of this watch. And finally, the gold or yellowish gold color for the water WR resist and alarm chrono is also white on the stealth edition of this watch, while the normal one has the yellow gold coloring for those text, giving it a very nice retro vibe, taking you back to those 1980s or 1990s when they had such a charm to it. All in all, this coloring doesn't impact it too much and it gives a nice stealthy finish. For the ones who want a retro vibe or a retro look on their watch, I would suggest going towards the positive display version, Casio A168W1. The bracelet on this stealth version of the Casio A168 is a stainless steel band with a gunmetal grey finish. It's adjustable and features a fold-over clasp for secure fitting, as you can see over here. The metal bracelet adds durability and complements the overall retro design of this watch. However, it might not be the most comfortable for everyone, especially if you prefer softer materials like leather or silicone. When it comes to Casio's budget watches like these, I don't think or a silicone strap or a leather strap would go well with its look. But hey, you can try it out and it might also look well sometimes. But in order to continue the overall aesthetic that it offers out of the box, I think it would be better off on this provided bracelet to complete that look. Apart from the looks, there is also a problem of this bracelet being a hair puller. So as you can see, these sections which are on the watch tend to pull your hair on your arms if you're when you're wearing it. So that's one downside for this strap. And also it is a bit of a jingly jangly kind of a feeling, and and that is a little bit of an issue with this strap. There is nothing much else to add to the normal positive display version when it comes to the bracelet, except for the fact that it is normal silvery finished rather than the gunmetal finish on the other stealth edition. So apart from it being the normal silvery gray color, it doesn't have much difference compared to its simpling. The A168, both the stealth and the normal version, is powered by a quartz digital movement that is known for its accuracy and reliability. This type of movement requires minimal maintenance and ensures that the watch keeps precise time, which is essential for everyday use. Before we go into the functions and features of these two watches, you can see that this watch attracts a lot of fingerprints, and on the shiny areas, which is just the chrome finished resin areas, it tends to attract a lot of fingerprints, and it's a fingerprint magnet. And if you're looking for having this watch on your wrist, and if you want to keep it clean looking, and if you want to it to be devoid of any fingerprints, you would be required to wipe it down every once in a while to remove those fingerprints. It's a little bit less noticeable on the bracelet when it comes to both these two watches, but on the case it's too shiny, and actually the shininess adds a good amount of retro vibe to these two watches, but it makes the watches susceptible to fingerprints. Now let's talk about the functions and features on the Casio A168. As you can see, there are 3 buttons and 1 empty space, and the first one is for the light. And as you can see here, the basic light function is electroluminescent, and it shows pretty nicely, and the text or the digits glow pretty well when the button is depressed. On the positive display version of this watch, the electroluminescent backlight is much more noticeable and it looks much better. But those who like the glow of the negative digits through the electroluminescent, I would suggest going for this negative version. But if you're looking for a very powerful looking electroluminescence on your watch, I would suggest you to go for the positive version. Nevertheless, they both look good in their own right, and they are the different flavors that each one of the watch is being presented with. But the technology behind it is exactly the same, and the output is also the same, but since the negative version has a different way of showing it, it shows up in a different way. So now that the light has been sorted out, let's go into the modes. So when you see the button mode, just depress it once and you will go into the alarm mode, and then depress it once again, you will go into the stopwatch, and then depress it once back, you will be brought back to the main display screen. And here is where you would be put into the time setting mode, where if you want to change the time, you would be allowed to change it, and you can make the changes. I'll get into those details in the next few sections, but at the moment these are the modes that are available on the A168 watch. So let's get into the time setting function. As I had shown in the negative version of the watch, in order to set the time, just press it, and once you reach again back to the main display screen, you will see that the second starts flashing. At that time, you press this button, start or stop, and whenever you want to reset it to 0, you can do it and it will reset to 0. So you can keep doing it until you feel like it matches up with the atomic time or whatever the accurate time or clock that you have on your end. So once you are happy with the seconds, just press this mode button and it finalizes it. But in any case that you want to go further and change everything else, so while you are doing the seconds, you are done with it, don't press the mode button, just press the light button. And yes, it also triggers the light function when it is switching over to the other areas of the time. So now it moved over to the hours. So now that it's flashing the hours, I will be able to cycle through it until you reach the desired hour. So again, I want to come back to the exact hour I was in because that was the right one. So 11:12. So now that I'm happy with it, I can move ahead to the next section, which is the minutes. Again, press the light button and it'll start flashing the minutes. And now you can change it to whatever you want. So in my case, I am advancing it to 14. So that's how you can do. I am happy with it. So I want to change the other areas. So now I press on the light button again. This section shows the month. So the month now it's shown as June. So you can move ahead and cycle through it until you reach the exact month you want. The month June was correct. So again I come back to June. So again, if I want to change anything else like the date and the day of the week, again press the mode button and it's the same drill. You cycle through it and change the date, and once you're happy with it, press the mode button again. It selects or it starts to flash the day of the week and you can cycle through it. And the thing is that it is shown day of the week: Sunday, SU, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's how the day of the week is represented, and that's how you say change them. So now that you are happy with it, you can press on the light button and it will again take you back to the main screen where you set the seconds again if you want. If you don't want, you just press the mode button and it finalizes everything. So that's how you change everything all at one shot. The next function or feature on this watch is the alarm. So when you're on the main display, press the mode function once and you will go into the alarm. And again, as shown in the light setting, as shown in the time setting, pressing the light button will start to flash the hours. So this is where you can set the hour that you want the alarm to be triggered. So in my case, I'm setting it to 6. And once you're happy with it, you can press the light button again and it will select the minutes, or you can set the minutes. I am setting it to 6:15. Now that I am happy with it, I can press the light button again and it finalizes it. Or you could have even could have even pressed the mode button that would have finalized it. So select it and it will finalize it and take you back to your main screen. But there is one unfinished business that I have over here, which is the hourly chime and the alarm being on or off. As you can see over here, it being a negative display, I have to bring it to a certain angle to show you properly. And if you want to turn on turn off the hourly chime and the alarm, you would be pressing this once, the start stop for the hourly chime. And if you want to turn on the alarm on or off, you press it again and it shows both of them. And if you want to turn both of them off, the hourly chime and the alarm, you press it again once. So that's how you turn it on. So it's relatively simple and intuitive. So once you're done with it, just press the mode button and it will take you back to the main display screen where it shows all the time related information. Let me show you how you can use the stopwatch function on this watch. While you're on the main time display, press the mode button once and then twice and you will reach the stopwatch function of this watch. While you're on the stopwatch function, press the start or stop to start the stopwatch, and when you want to stop it at any point, just press the button again and it stops. And at any point of time, if you want to reset it, just press the light button and it resets it. So that's how you use the stopwatch function on this watch. It's relatively easy and easy to access and also easy to start, stop, and just that it doesn't have the lap function on this watch. Both these watches lack the world time, the countdown timer, and also they don't have anything that you would see in any of the G-Shock watches or any of the advanced watches from Casio, like the Tide or anything that is relatively new from any of the Casio lineup. But hey, it is sticking to its retro charm, and it is giving possible from the retro features that you would see in any of the Casio's retro lineup, and it sticks to its heritage. It looks so good at it, and it's one of the oldest watches that you have in your lineup that you would want to, that would help you bring back the retro charm into your collection whenever you are having these. Looking at the case back of these two watches, you can see that Casio has been stamped on it and the module 3298 shown, and the actual name or model of the watch A168 is shown, and it's a stainless steel back and water resistance. So whenever you are seeing just water resistant on the backside of the watch, it is just at the max splash proof and maybe a very quick immersion, and you can't take it for any of the deep diving, snorkeling, or swimming. And there is one difference I am seeing in both of these watches versions. One is saying that it's made in Thailand, while the other one says that it's made in China. So I believe one has been assembled in Thailand, the other one has been assembled in China. Nevertheless, I don't see any difference in the quality of these two watches. They both look identical and feel identical in the quality, and it's one of the biggest things of Casio. The quality control is good, and they keep it, though they are offering these watches at a very minimal cost and at affordable prices, they are not cutting corners or reducing their quality when in their watches. Let's talk about the pros and cons of these two watches. The pros being affordable price point, making it accessible for most budgets, and the classic retro design that appeals to vintage watch enthusiasts, the reliable quartz movement ensuring accurate timekeeping, and finally the useful features like alarm, stopwatch, backlight. These help you get through the day without much hassles when it's on your wrist. Like its cousin, the Casio F91W, the cons include the acrylic crystal, which is prone to scratches compared to mineral or sapphire crystal, and the basic water resistance that you would get from these watches, which limits its use around water. And finally, the metal bracelets that you would see on this is not much comfortable for everyone's wear, and it's a bit of a hair puller. Maybe the ones on the F91W is much more comfortable to wear when it comes to the strap on these watches, but hey, you lose the vintage charm and the bracelet finish on the Casio F91W, which is being offered on the A168. Also, it gives you a better backlight when compared to the F91W. So the cons on these watches relatively compared to their cousins like the F91W are far lesser, but nevertheless, for some people who have the bracelet as a deal breaker, and if it being a hair puller is an issue for them, I would suggest maybe putting it on some other silicone strap or on a leather strap if possible, and you would be able to get away with it. Overall, the Casio A168 is a fantastic choice for those who appreciate a blend of vintage style and modern functionality. Its affordability, reliable performance, and iconic design make it a great addition to any watch collection. And if you're in the market for A168 and you don't like the looks of the negative version, you have the positive version, which has a better layout and a pop of color and brings back the retro charm and vibe from the 1980s or 1990s. It looks much more better when compared to the A168 WGG1BDF. The positive display also makes it much more readable. So it's up to you to choose either the blackout version or the stealth version of the watch or the positive dial version, and it would still be a good looking watch on your wrist, and also a good looking watch to be added to your collection. If you want to see the close up shots of the A168, head towards my shots section, and I will leave an info card over here somewhere so that you can get towards my shots section, which shows the close up view of the A168. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this review, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more watch reviews. And until then, keep on ticking.